Hello, Administrator Hayes, or should I say, greetings Marines, FiOth here, and today we're finalizing our three-part playlist analyzing the tools of destruction in Aliens Dark Descent. We did the primaries, the secondaries, and now we're moving on to the special weapons. When it comes to special weapons, there are 5 choices: the shotgun that you start with, incinerator unit, mine, RPG, and the sniper rifle. Some of them are tied to levels acquired by your marines, and some of them are tied to a specific class. So shotgun is pretty much self-explanatory. You start with it. It is a short range arm that shoots a blast in a cone in front of you, dealing high damage in your immediate vicinity and lower damage the further away you move, and has a high chance of dismemberment. Specifically, the stats read: M37A2 pump shotgun, short range damage 0 to 6 meters 10 to 20 points, medium range damage 6 to 12 meters 5 to 10 points, short range dismemberment chance is 30% and medium range is 15%. The associated kill is called Shotgun Blast, and it's available to pretty much everyone as long as your special weapon is the pump shotgun. Doesn't require any special training, doesn't have any level requirements. You start the game with it, everyone has it unless you change it for something else. There is really a very specific usage for this thing, and that is as you backtrack and the enemies are coming towards you, you can pause or slow the game, place the cone towards the enemy coming your way, and whilst you're moving back, you blast them, hopefully dismember them, and that slows them down, creating space and causing damage. Not rocket science, but very reliable, and the damage is pretty good as well. It might be the starting tool in your toolkit, but it will not disappoint, can carry you through the initial phases of the game, and it is an one and out application, meaning that the marine can do anything else after they're done with the blasting. Now, the incinerator is a weapon that many avoid using because it feels like it's gonna kill your dudes as well. The pyrophobia trait that also states that puddles of fire will increase stress kinda cements that, but in truth, the incinerator will never hit and damage your dudes. There is no friendly fire in this game. It's not considered an environmental hazard, so as long as you are the one spewing the flames, your marines cannot be caught in the trail. It kinda disheartens you the way it's presented, but it shouldn't, because it's great for a very specific reason. Let's go through the stats. M240 incinerator unit, range 5 to 15 meters, burning damage 5 to 10 per second, enemy burning duration 4 seconds, burst duration 3 seconds, area burning duration 30 seconds, and associated skill is called incineration. It creates a cone and keeps firing inside that cone for the duration of the skill. It will cause really high damage to anything caught inside and set them ablaze, and the most important thing about this is that in multiple clusters of egg scenarios, unlike the grenade that will pretty much wake every cluster that's not destroyed up at the same moment, the incinerator will kill the clusters silently. So if you can catch them all in the trail of fire, it's very easy to dispatch of clusters of eggs, something that not many people are using, including myself. Because the game has been so finicky with its bugs, and I don't mean the xenomorphs, it kinda makes me feel that this kinda approach is hit or miss, but it's much more consistent than I give it credit for. So at least one of your people should have incinerator on them, and give it a go whenever you find a cluster of eggs. You might be pleasantly surprised. It is not the most destructive one and out weapon in the armament, but you don't need it to be. You can lay down suppressive fire in corridors and really hurt the enemy's advance by spewing a cone of flame towards them whilst they're approaching you, sustaining heavy damage. Very good, and should be seeing more usage. Now the mine, the GEM-80 mine. Any class can use it. I'm gonna go through the stats first, and then I'm gonna explain usage. Activation radius is 2.5 meters. Inner blast damage 20 to 35, outer blast 15 to 30, inner dismemberment 50 and outer dismemberment 50. So even if they touch the outer layers of the blast, they're still probably gonna lose a limb. Causes very good damage, and I'm gonna explain optimal usage for this. There are two things you have to keep under consideration. The mine can be placed by anyone and will have the same effect whether they are the medic or the gunner. My suggestion is you put this thing on a gunner. When I was making my loadout breakdowns, at some point I said put the RPG on the gunner because the gunner is mentally the heavy gunner of the squad. But someone came and said, no dude, put the mine on the gunner because you want the gunner to keep using the smart gun, so if they preemptively set the mines, they don't have to swap the smart gun for anything during a heavy fight. That means that the smart man will keep firing no matter what. The mine will already be in place. If any unlucky enemies approach, they're gonna be blown to smithereens. And that is absolutely what I suggest you do. Put the mines on your gunner, have the gunner with the smart gun, so they will have time to place mines preemptively, and then they can get to work with the smarty. Second scenario, place motion trackers around the map and place mines on the motion trackers. So when you activate the motion tracker, the enemy that comes to investigate will 99% of the time step on the mine unless they glitch out. The more mines you place in the immediate vicinity of a tracker, the more blown up Xeners you're gonna have. Also, what they did in this game is a very good approach to mining. The blast radius of one mine will not blast the mine next to it. So every activation is an individual event. We'll kill what's gotta kill, and then the other Xenos coming in can step on the next mine that will like have a foot away, and they will also be blasted to bits. That's the best way they could have got it, and I'm glad they did, because in most games the thought is like, oh, this mine exploded, and the mine next to it exploded as well. Veers a bit more towards the realistic side, but doesn't allow for optimal strategization, especially with the blast radius we're looking at here. So the mines are very good, don't forget to use them. RPG launcher, now we're going into the deep end. RPG launcher has a requirement. Your Marines have to be of a specific level in order to be able to use this, but it is really good. It states, when you go to research it, that this will make a big ass hole in the chitin of any boss or mini boss. That means queens, crushers, praetorians, whatever has a health bar, and it's absolutely devastating in those scenarios. It deals extreme damage as stated here, and can take down these meaty targets in 2 to 3 applications. That means that if you have a couple of Marines with this equipped, they can literally erase bigger enemies in a matter of seconds. M5 RPG launcher, range 45 meters, inner blast 80 to 120 damage, outer blast is 20 to 30, inner blast dismemberment of 1% and outer blast dismemberment of 1%. So don't expect this to actually dismember enemies, but you can kill them outright with it. Word of advice, the most important one I can give you, go for direct hits with this. Okay, we're talking big meaty targets, they will be charging you. Predict the line of sight and just blast them into oblivion with direct hit. You'll have a very good time whenever you hit a charging crusher with it and watch it evaporate. Queens, praetorians, clusters of enemies, everything gets erased by the RPG, and it costs just as much as any other ability. The problem it has, let's call it a problem because I don't deem it as such, but we have to look at the pros and the cons. Its blast radius is tiny, especially compared to the grenade that is attached to the basic pulse rifle. You have to be relatively accurate with it and predict the exact placement of the enemy that you want to hit. As long as you can hit them though, this is really gonna hurt. Application doesn't take a lot of time. I would suggest you put it on any Marine that's not a gunner, and it will work like a charm. It is an excellent weapon. Research it as soon as possible and you will have a great time using it. The M42A3 sniper rifle at the bottom of the list, last but not least. See what I did there? Can only be used by the Recon class. It has a range of 80 meters, damage of 42, which is insane. Cast duration of 1 second and is tied to the precision shot. This should always be tied with the silencer upgrade on the recon upgrade tree. What it does is give you a guaranteed headshot after 1 second of acquiring a target. The recon will shoot any roaming drones, warriors, cultists, guardians, or what have you, and kill them in 1 shot, silently and without alerting anyone. Whilst in combat, it is a very high damage 1 and out tool with a 1 second casting time. You have to understand, if you want to stay stealthy, this is pretty much a must. Some people think that they can kill their roamers with grenades, some people think that they can kill their roamers with RPGs. The thing is, they're gonna hear you. The higher the difficulty setting, the least probable is that you're gonna walk out unscathed. On hard, grenades will not outright kill the roamers, so you'll always end up being detected. I know for some people this is a bit hard to use because you can't actually dictate precise movement for an individual unit in this game. That's my only gripe with the approach they brought here, the move as a single entity mentality, because the recon should have some individuality so they can snipe more efficiently. But once you have this and learn how to move around the map, turn corners and utilize cover and hiding, this will come in clutch in a plethora of scenarios. Great damage, manageable casting time, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it will save your ass a lot of unnecessary encounters. So this is it, guys. This is my special weapons breakdown. You can find the other 2, the primaries and secondaries, in the list I will be linking by the end of this vid. Sub, like, hit the notification bell, more Dark Descent content on the way. Until next time, be well, stay frosty and always strive for perfection. Cheers.